Hello and welcome. We're going to have an interesting discussion today. We're going to be judging different characters outside of the MCU as to who will be able to wield Mjolnir. Now, according to what we know that Odin's spell basically says he who is worthy will be able to wield the hammer. But what we have is, number one, this character is pure-hearted and has a clear purpose. This character is morally upright, courageous, and warrior spirit. This character is without arrogance, vanity, or pride. This character puts others before themselves and their interests, and is willing to fight and die for others, is the last point. So one of the criteria that we had, in addition to fitting these characteristics, is we wanted to avoid characters who would be able to trick the hammer, and then other characters who would be able to just brute force overpower Odin's spell. So a character like Hela, who was able to just, because she's stronger than Odin, destroy or overpower the spell. So first we have Scott. Let's go.
All right, guys. Here's my pitch. I'm going with Goku, Son Goku. All right, look, guys. It's so obvious that Goku can lift Mjolnir. The standards that you just said: pure of heart, clear purpose. Goku literally has one purpose in life, that's to fight and get better, but also he helps people out. Pure of heart, two things in the show that are actually proof of this. Number one, he can ride the Nimbus Cloud. Only those with pure hearts can ride the Nimbus Cloud. Number two, he fights someone called Devilman in Dragon Ball, and he used something called the Devil Might Beam, which is supposed to kill you if you have evil thoughts, or like if you're evil. And it did nothing to Goku. So it was basically an example of how Goku is pure of heart again for the second time. Most of these things happened when he was a kid, but he pretty much stayed the same throughout. And then afterwards, let's see. Obviously he has a warrior spirit, like he wants to fight all the time. And he's not prideful like Vegeta. He's willing to like fuse with Vegeta to beat the enemy and save the world. Unlike Vegeta, who pretty much never wants to do that. He finds it embarrassing. And in terms of like putting others before himself and willing to die and fight for others, Goku has died fighting for others. He's literally sacrificed himself to save everyone from Cell when he did the self-explosion. So, and also Raditz. Don't forget about Raditz. That's my pitch, guys. What do you guys think? Mjolnir?
I have a question.
I'm ready.
So Goku's goal is to be the strongest, right?
Goku, I feel like people who are always trying to look for bad guys is not a good thing, you know what I mean? Goku, his goal in life, his hobby, or like, you know, his, the thing he loves doing most is fighting. But he doesn't do it out of malice. He just does it out of like the sake that he loves it, you know? It's like a sport to him, basically. That's part of what makes him pure of heart, in my opinion.
Okay, interesting. I'm just curious if that could border on being a little bit prideful if he wants to be the best at fighting.
You make a good point there, OC.
We're splitting hairs here, though. I see you, Scott. I think that's a good choice. I mean, that's what anime fans say is like for any like OP character, everyone's just like, they're not being Goku though. Like that's just how it is, and I think he would be deserving of Mjolnir.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with Crystal. I don't know too much about Dragon Ball Z, but the way that you pitched it has convinced me. So I would say you did a good job, even though I don't know the character.
I'll give it to you as well.
All right, 3 out of 3.
I think that it was a good presentation. I think that Goku would probably be able to wield Mjolnir.
Goku for the win.
My counter thing is in Dragon Ball Super, he's responsible for the whole multiple universes being destroyed because he wanted to fight.
Yeah, but nobody mentioned that, so it's okay.
That wasn't my counter thing, but
I don't watch Super, so I didn't know about that.
I have never watched any of them.
That would be my only word.
There should be
counter.
Can we record an extra bit with Shuku saying that, just like by himself at the table, like actually, Scott?
Yeah. Hi guys, I am up next. My name is Christine, and the person that I think could wield Mjolnir is Tanjiro from Demon Slayer.
Tanjiro!
Yes! He is the main character, and I believe he is of pure heart and a clear purpose because after His family was brutally slaughtered. His one clear goal is to not really rid the world of demons because his sister is a demon himself, you know, showing and highlighting that he believes demons have their own, you know, self-consciousness and their own thought, and they can be good, per se. But he just wants the world to be better, you know? That's the bottom line. He just wants the world to be better and there to be peace and no one to die. So I think that checks off, you know, the first one. Morally upright? Yes, 100%. He can define what is like good or bad, you know, the black and the white. He has a courageous warrior spirit. He fights, you know, demons, even though he has no idea in the beginning how to wield a sword, but he does it anyway. And he goes and finds a teacher to help him. He doesn't have arrogance, vanity, or pride, to be honest. Like, he'll put down his sword to help out friends or to even help out someone who's killing him and help out the demon who is killing him too. Most recently, the Demon Slayer movie, he almost died trying to defeat the villain in that. So he's definitely more than willing to fight and die for others, for his cause, for everybody's cause, for the world to be better. And that is my pitch. Questions, guys? No? All three? Okay, cool.
I don't watch it. I haven't jumped into Demon Slayer yet.
I'm hesitant just because he puts up with Zenitsu a little too much for my life.
But why would he kill him?
I don't know. Yeah, I think that's a good argument. Honestly, I can't think of anything that.
Well, here's the thing. You chose Tanjiro, which is like such an obvious choice.
You chose Goku!
Bro, there's nothing wrong with that. At least I didn't choose Thor.
Yeah, no.
I
You
know, at least
can't
she didn't
choose Thor.
choose
It's not
Goku.
part of the prompt.
You're right.
I mean, you can't
What?
really say much. Like the movie,
Yeah.
the movie even like basically outright said that he has a pure heart, so
Yeah.
a pure soul. So,
Yeah, that's actually
3 out of 3.
it's a default yes. I don't think anybody can like sort of argue against that.
He's too pure.
He
you
is
know?
pure.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone, even though it's the afternoon. My name is Crystal, and this is my TED Talk on why I believe that Superman, aka Kal-El, aka
Superman.
Clark Kent, would be able to wield Mjolnir. I think it's a pretty obvious choice, but I'm still gonna go into my reasons. I mean, off the top, pure-hearted, clear purpose. He's like a beacon of hope, basically. Everyone associates his character with hope. He chooses to fight when instead he could be like a god and like control everyone, but instead he chooses to fight for humanity, who he's like not even human. So that just shows he's pure-hearted and that, you know, he was raised right by his parents. Some people think that Clark Kent is like a cloak for Superman, but I do think Clark Kent is who he really is. And he's content to just have like his journalism job and play like second fiddle to Lois Lane. And I do believe she's a better reporter, and he, you know, that's like no issue to him. And that's like who he is as a person. He could choose to be like someone else. But he's like pretty authentic as Clark Kent, I would say. And he like obviously like doesn't like a lot of attention when he's like being Clark Kent. So aside from that, we've seen him die, you know, the death of, you know, Superman, basically, Doomsday kill him, came back with the black suit. That's like a huge, big deal in the DC universe for him. And that just shows that he's a selfless person. So, I mean, I open it up for questions right now, but I think it goes without saying, like, you know, Superman, Kal-El could wield Mjolnir.
Which incarnation are you talking about specifically?
Mostly I'm like thinking about like the Justice League cartoon and
Okay.
one issue. He betrayed his whole people. Like the Kryptonians, when they had to find a place, and he didn't
Are you
help
talking
them
about
out.
the movies? Are you talking about Man of
I
Steel?
mean, in every they didn't do that in Justice League, but in like every Superman, that's the same. They might have done that in the Superman cartoon.
I think that
Because that's the same Superman that's in
Superman
the Justice League cartoon.
is more human than he is Kryptonian. And I think that it's like, look, there's gonna be some hard decisions that leaders have to make in every situation. And I think, you know, when it came down to it, he is saving innocent people on Earth who have like no knowledge of like anything going on outside the universe or their solar system. And it's like, at the end of the day, I think that's right. I'm a human, I want to live, and I trust Superman. Like, if the man was real, I'd trust him.
Look, Superman actually wielded Mjolnir between
We're not gonna
crossover
bring that
comics.
up.
He did. He
We're
did.
not
I
gonna
do
bring
remember
that
that.
up.
Thank you, Scott.
No.
What
That's
about,
not a fair point to
What
bring
about
up,
when
but-
he was brought back to life and he started going like batshit crazy?
That's in one movie, bro. Like, and then he
and-
wasn't,
You know,
he but he didn't have
In
his
the
faculties.
in the actual animation, the Doomsday one, like he was fine.
Yeah, he didn't have his faculties in that movie, and that's not the end all be all of Superman
I
lore
don't think
that I'm thinking of.
I don't think DCEU Superman can do it, but if you're talking about Justice League Superman,
If we're
for
talking
sure.
about Superman as a whole, like his best qualities, which is like he has a lot of good qualities, I do believe that Superman can wield Mjolnir. And yeah, like I said, he has a warrior spirit. That's another thing, is like he chooses to fight when like Kryptonians are super smart. He could be like a surgeon or a doctor or some shit like that, but he's instead choosing to fight those that are like strong enough to threaten Earth. Like he's punching up, you know, like and he's in danger quite a fair bit.
I don't know. I feel like Superman doesn't quite have the warrior spirit in the sense that he likes fighting. At least the Justice League Superman is the one I'm thinking of. He's like, I remember a scene between him and Darkseid, and he's like, with Darkseid, he doesn't have to hold back, and he feels good about that. He's like saying how, every day I have to like do my best not to break everything around me, blah blah blah. And he doesn't like fighting. He's just doing it because he has to, I feel. But that's my
If we're defining warrior spirit, I mean, when I think of warrior spirit, I think it's the spirit that it takes to get through a fight that's like really difficult. And like he always has that, right? He has no qualms about risking
Yeah.
himself. And
I mean,
I'll have to give it to Crystal because, you know, I feel like a warrior spirit is the ability to rise to the challenge and fight, knowing that you may die.
yeah, and like technically
I don't
speaking,
know if
he's
Superman
not,
thinks about that often.
Well, he died, didn't he?
he's like a slugger.
Bet he didn't expect it.
He's not particularly skilled in any kind of like fighting styles, but he chooses to just like use what he has and like go for it every time he needs to fight a villain.
Yeah, depends on which Superman.
I'll
Some
give
of
it
the
to Crystal. You have my vote, Crystal.
Some of the Supermen actually know martial arts, Kryptonian martial arts. But
Okay.
once again, that's why I asked which iteration, because there's so many different Supermen. It's so hard to keep
I'm
track.
sorry, I kind of just pick and chose what I liked about it.
There's definitely one version of Superman that can for sure do it. I do think
Yeah.
the Justice League one can. So I will say yes. Once again, it's a solid choice. I'm just
Alright.
trying to do rebuttals.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Good job. Alrighty then. Okay, so the character that I believe wholeheartedly would be able to wield Mjolnir is none other than Naruto Uzumaki.
Naruto.
I believe that Naruto Uzumaki would be able to wield Mjolnir for a couple of reasons. Our first point, pure-hearted and clear purpose. Everybody knows his purpose. He wants to be the Hokage. And we see his pure-heartedness in his pursuit of his friend, Sasuke. I think that relationship and that the dynamic of that relationship and how it develops over the course of Naruto and Naruto Shippuden displays Naruto's pure heart and his loyalty to his friends and his desire to bring the people that he loves out of destructive situations. His unwillingness to be deterred by other people telling him that he should give up on his friend displays to me how he would be worthy of something like this. Other characteristics, morally upright. He doesn't like when there's the episodes where Jiraiya is talking about the things that ninjas need to avoid, like women, alcohol, gambling, and stuff like that. And he's like, I don't even care about that stuff. It's like he's just like he's just, you know, he's morally, you know, You find that.
Okay.
And then courageous warrior spirit. Obviously, he's a fighter. We know that he's a ninja. He cares about learning new jutsus and getting stronger. He doesn't have arrogance or pride. He can't have arrogance or pride because he's not the best. Like from the beginning. At the beginning, he's not the best. He ends up being the best. But at the beginning, everybody spends their time like talking down to him, and he kind of has to build himself up from within. And so he doesn't have arrogance or pride. And then putting others before himself, obviously, and willing to fight and die for others. There are many instances where he nearly dies in order to protect other people.
All right.
Scott's
One
ready to destroy
jutsu.
you.
Yeah.
Sexy no jutsu.
Yep. That's exactly what I was
Well,
gonna say.
the sexy jutsu is not for his pleasure. It's so that he can mess with other people.
But does that show he's pure-hearted?
I think so. I think that shows his innocence.
Well, he has stolen like jutsus. He's stolen.
I think that's the
some other
reverse of
stuff.
innocence, but
Yeah.
but we can. I think his purposes are fine. He's just doing it for the sake of fun.
Yeah.
It's just that's one thing that he has that the others don't, that we mentioned.
I suppose it depends on how you look at it. I would say that if he was doing it somehow for his own pleasure, then I would get that, but I don't see how that works.
Is this?
Whoa.
Wait, is this?
How it's not his own pleasure, especially sex jutsu.
But he turns into
Yeah, but he does it because he thinks it's funny. That's his own
yeah, but that's not the same thing as like I'm like sexually aroused by myself.
I will say this.
He's saying that it's like sneaky.
It's a more innocent. It's a more innocent.
Okay, that's a filler. That's a filler episode.
Yeah, we're not counting filler. I'm not counting filler.
Filler is saying that was in Naruto in that context.
Hold up, cameraman. Give us a floor.
Yeah. Okay. Is this? Are you talking about Naruto Uzumaki as a whole, or is
Yeah.
this just Shippuden, or is this?
No, as a
Yeah?
whole, I think over the course of the show we see that, especially at the end when he wins back Sasuke. That's like the culmination of everything.
I don't know. In terms of like the pure-heartedness, and you saying that Hokage is his goal,
hmm
I feel like it should be more.
Well,
Like
the show
worldly.
establishes at several different points that the role of Hokage is not necessarily like meant to be a coveted role for like power. It's more about protection. Like when we see that when Tsunade is presented with the role, she doesn't want it, and she's only decides to do it after she's reminded of her lover and her brother, who both had those same goals, and they wanted it so that they could protect the village. It's
Okay.
all about protecting the village.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
good
think
counter.
I do feel like earlier Naruto, younger Naruto, like from the first series, probably couldn't do it. But in Shippuden, after he becomes Hokage, or even like during
Yeah.
that process, like I feel like he can.
Agreed.
You don't really need to pitch the character. Actually, I feel like just saying the character, I automatically make a judgment. But in terms of your pitch, yeah, I the Sasuke aspect was good. I mean, I feel like it's foolish, but that's why.
That's why it works.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
he's pure-hearted.
Cool. Sounds good.
You turn the recording off for this?
I do have some rebuttals, and if you can put this in the comments, I'm doing it for you. So let's start with our boy Goku. We're here that Goku's a pure of heart, he's a good saint, you hear all this stuff. Well, that all changed in this one time where there's this universal tournament where, some god, I don't know what's his name, Beerus, was telling him that, hey, don't play with little Zeno. And Goku's like, well, what's wrong with me playing with Zeno? And then because he wanted a tournament, he ended up almost destroying the multiverse because of his own selfish pleasure. Again, Goku, even Akira Toriyama himself said that Goku's not really a hero. In fact, that was the dub interpretation during the Funimation days. And they made him more heroic. At the end of the day, Goku's selfish about his fighting. Now, again, he does like to protect the innocent. So I'll give it that he doesn't like the innocent to be protected. But if he was going to risk a freaking tournament, in fact, even in the Majin Buu saga, he literally could have ended it earlier, but he wanted to fight Kid Buu. He even said it that like, I could defeat Majin Buu in Super Saiyan 3, but I just want to give everyone a freaking chance. Like, if he was a hero, the first thing he would do is destroy him. So, I'm sorry, but I don't think Goku can hold the hammer. And next is Superman. Now, there are many incarnations of Superman, and I do think out of the Justice League Superman comparing to Goku, he's more likely. But the only reason why I'm a little bit skeptical about that is that they kind of prove in the Justice League that if the Flash dies, Superman will give a heartbeat to kill Lex Luthor. And that creates the Justice Lords. So that thing alone, if Superman's able to turn to the Justice Lords and control everyone just because he wants to do the sake of good, I feel like that kind of takes him away from the hammer. That being said, again, that's based off of one action. So most likely, if the action doesn't occur, of course he can hold it. But because that's a possibility, and we're going by the Justice League Superman, that kind of puts him off a little bit, what I would say. So Superman more likely, but Goku for the most part is definitely out. The other two, Naruto, I mean, again, if he was a kid, no, but the whole point of his is that he grows to be more pure heart, so yeah. And Demon Slayer, so far I haven't seen the ending, so I don't know how that character becomes or what goes on. So I'm pretty sure he's pure of heart for now, but who knows? So that's the rebuttals section. If you guys have more comments and criticisms, let us know. But at the end of the day, I think all of them are more pure heart than everyone else that in this world for the most part, or certain people in this world. So peace.